Hi everyone, it's Cindy with Twisted Truth In. How you guys all doing? This is an update. Fotis Dulos, 52, is in critical condition. So yesterday he was doing court, and he was a no-show. So someone sent the police to his house to do a welfare check, and they tracked him by his ankle bracelet, his GPS court-ordered ankle bracelet. When the police got there, he was sitting inside of a locked garage in his car, with the car running, unresponsive. They did CPR. He's in critical condition. So let's have a listen to what the police said yesterday.
Good afternoon. We understand you guys want information, but this investigation is very preliminary at this point, and there's only so much that we can release, okay? Today at about 11:54 hours this morning, officers from the Farmington Police Department were asked to respond to Mr. Dulos' residence for a well-being check because he was late for a court appearance today. When officers responded, they could see through a window that Mr. Dulos was sitting in his vehicle and he had obvious signs of medical distress. Officers forced entry and immediately began to perform life-saving measures. Medics responded from the East Farmington Fire Department, Yukon Health, and AMR ambulance to assist with those life-saving measures. Mr. Dulos was transported to Yukon Health by ambulance, where he is now listed as critical condition. This is a cooperative investigation with the Farmington Police Department, the Connecticut State Police, and the Connecticut State's Attorney's Office. Again, very preliminary right now. The investigation is just beginning, and we expect to have an update later this evening.
Was there a note at all that might have indicated that this was a suicide attempt?
Yes, it's way too early for us to confirm any of that right now.
We heard he was in a helicopter going somewhere from Yukon. Can you confirm any of that, or is he still at Yukon, you're saying?
I at this point, he is still at Yukon Health, yes.
Can you talk about what he might be being treated for?
Carbon monoxide poisoning.
And what was the original call that led authorities to this property?
Just to check on his whereabouts and his well-being, because he did not show up for a court appearance today. He was late.
We saw a woman here on the property. She was here earlier this morning around 11:20. She was here for about 10 minutes, and then we saw another woman here on the property. I mean, can you give any indication? I believe it was the same woman. Can you give us any indication who she might have been?
I can't right now. It is too early in the investigation. Again, we expect to have some updates later this evening.
She is with detectives.
You said carbon monoxide was in the garage or in the house we saw through a window?
He was located in his garage in his vehicle.
Okay.
What kind of medical treatment was he given here at the scene?
Typical life-saving measures, CPR.
Anyone else?
And when you, when these life-saving measures were going on, I know my coworker Courtney Zeller was watching this all unfold. I think she counted about 10 minutes that this was happening. I mean, at what point was there a sign of life that you were then able to transport him? I mean, what was that effort like for you guys?
Typically, CPR will be performed for a period of time. If there is any type of life present, the patient would be transported to the hospital, and that's what happened today. I don't have the exact time of when they determined whether or not Mr. Dulos had any signs of life.
I'm Taylor DeCello from Fox 61. Are they going to be keeping him at Yukon Health Center?
So
yeah.
his medical condition you're going to have to get from Yukon. They may do an update later on working with the chief here in Farmington Police, but anything medical, I know you guys want to know, but we really can't comment. Right now, these guys are here trying to button up the scene and keep things moving here. So as far as hospital information, medical information, severity and such, critical condition, maybe we'll have some updates later, hopefully.
How much longer are you planning on being here at the scene?
We expect to be here for a few hours, and that will depend on where the investigation leads.
Can either of you talk about what actually is happening here at the scene?
So, go ahead.
At the scene right now?
Yeah.
Yes, we are, how do we say this? We're investigating. Detectives are interviewing witnesses and there are some legal considerations that are taking place right now, and we're working through those legalities, and that's part of the investigation.
And are you looking at anything in particular aside from what happened today, or are you focused specifically on what happened today, or can your investigatory measures go outside of that?
Good question. That would, that's kind of why we're being assisted by the Connecticut State Police, and we'll see where that investigation leads. It's very beginning right now, so I don't know where it'll go yet.
Was anyone else in the house?
Mr. Dulos was alone when officers located
And
him.
what time did you guys get to the house?
We got here about maybe noon, probably noon. I know it was 11:54 we got the call, so probably around noon.
Are you able to comment at all whether he, at one point, he didn't have a pulse at all?
No, and that's part of the immediate life-saving measures. Okay, that's officers on scene determined, CPR was needed, and that was what was performed.
So you say no, you can't comment on that? Is that what you meant by no?
No, I can't comment.
Are you expected to give another?
We expect later this evening, once we have some more information to share with all of you. Again, we know you all want some info, and we are doing our best.
Now, we saw a Lifestar helicopter landing at Yukon Health. Is he being transferred by Lifestar from Yukon Health?
Again, you're going to have to get confirmation from Yukon Health, okay? And any medical updates will have to come from them.
Now, after this unfolded today, did you check in with the two other people that were charged in connection to this case? I know that Kent Malini is behind bars, but what about Michelle Troconis, who too is out on bond?
Let me handle that. So there's still a gag order in place, unfortunately, on the previous investigation. Obviously, they're both impacted by each other. And obviously, the Connecticut State Police Major Crimes detectives are doing their best with the state's attorney, one, to respect all legalities here. Currently, right now, they're just holding the scene to determine what happened, and then they'll move forward. But there's still a gag order going on.
And once again, my name is Taylor from Fox 61. Was there a suicide note left?
It's still, the investigation is way too early for that. They haven't even gotten in and processed anything yet, if they're even going to. So, again, they're just holding the scene right now.
And has the Farber Dulos family, has their kids, Gloria Farber, have they been notified about what's been going on?
That would be something that the detectives would initiate at some point. You guys are doing a fairly thorough job of covering it to this point, so I guess they're going to have a decent amount of information at this point. But obviously, in any crime, any type of crime like this or any investigation, detectives are going to work closely with the family as much as possible and keep them informed. That's their first point of contact, is usually with the family.
How long you guys be out here for?
It's going to be a while, fellas. It'll hit your evening news.
How will we know when you do the update?
We'll get the word out ahead of time.
Chief Melanson's great with the Farmington Police Department. Fantastic. He'll have some information or something put out for you later.
Do you know about what time this evening?
No, not this time.
Good. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Okay. Good afternoon. We understand you guys want information, but this investigation is very preliminary at this point, and there's only so much that we can release. Okay. Today at about 11:54 hours this morning, officers from the Farmington Police Department were asked to respond to Mr. Dulos' residence for a well-being check because he was late for a court appearance today. When officers responded, they could see through a window that Mr. Dulos was sitting in his vehicle and he had obvious signs of medical distress. Officers forced entry and immediately began to perform life-saving measures. Medics responded from the East Farmington Fire Department, Yukon Health, and AMR ambulance to assist with those life-saving measures. Mr. Dulos was transported to Yukon Health by ambulance, where he is now listed as critical condition. This is a cooperative investigation with the Farmington Police Department, the Connecticut State Police, and the Connecticut State's Attorney's Office. Again, very preliminary right now. The investigation is just beginning, and we expect to have an update later this evening.
Was there a note at all that might have indicated that this was a suicide attempt?
Yes, it's way too early for us to confirm any of that right now.
We heard he was in a helicopter going somewhere from Yukon. Can you confirm any of that, or is he still at Yukon, you're saying now?
I at this point, he is still at Yukon Health, yes.
Can you talk about what he might be being treated for?
Carbon monoxide poisoning.
And what was the original call that led authorities to this property?
Just to check on his whereabouts.
Okay, so police did say that he had attached a hose to the exhaust pipe of his Suburban. And this is the picture flipped, so you can see it better. You can see a hose coming off of his exhaust. So obviously, he really thought this out. So yesterday, rescue teams did about 10 minutes, I think they said, of a CPR on scene. He was totally unresponsive. They rushed him to the hospital, then he was life-flighted. Today, he's reportedly in critical and dire condition. Apparently, he had contacted a bail bondsman yesterday morning at 9:30 in the morning because an emergency bond hearing was scheduled, and I think they were going to revoke his $6 million bail. That's what I've read. Allegedly, the properties that he used to secure the bail, two of them were in foreclosure, and so this was rescheduled. So today, even though he's in the hospital, Stamford Superior Court moved forward with the bond hearing. His attorney feels personally responsible for this, according to the Stamford Advocate. Farmington police, at the time that I made this, were still trying to secure a search warrant, and it was unclear what crime they would cite for legal authority to search Dulos' home. Currently, when I made this video, there was no suicide note. But then this came out this afternoon. A Stamford Superior Court judge issued 3 warrants today for the rearrest of Fotis Dulos. His attorney confirmed Dulos is in dire condition. The situation is grim. Mr. Dulos is hospitalized. We are hoping that he will recover. His attorney had waived extradition proceedings, so his family could have access to him at the hospital. The judge ordered the rearrest warrants because of a failure to appear in court on Tuesday. Well, duh. According to WINH, Connecticut State Police did get a search warrant, and they're at his home. Even though he's dying in the hospital, I feel really bad for both families, and I'm praying for the children. Thanks, guys. Keep you posted. Bye.